The Five Students by Thomas Hardy, 1840 to 1928. The sparrow dips in his wheel-rut bath. The sun grows passionate-eyed and boils the dew to smoke by the paddock-path, as strenuously we stride. 5 of us, dark he, fair he, dark she, fair she, I, all beating by. The air is shaken, the high road hot, shadowless swoons the day. The greens are sobered and the cattle rest, but not we on our urgent way. 4 of us, fair she, dark she, fair he, I, are there, but 1 elsewhere. Autumn moulds the hard fruit mellow, and forward still we press, through moors, briar-meshed plantations, clay pits yellow, as in the spring hours. Yes, 3 of us, fair he, fair she, I, as heretofore, but fallen 1 more. The leaf drops, earthworms draw it in, at night time noiselessly. The fingers of birch and beech are skeleton thin, and yet on the beat are we. 2 of us, fair she, I, but no more left to go the track we know. Icicles tag the church aisle leads. The flag rope gibbers hoarse. The homebound footfolk wrap their snowflaked heads. Yet I still stalk the course. 1 of us, dark and fair he, dark and fair she, gone. The rest anon. Okay, so this is a poem by Thomas Hardy. Thomas Hardy was a great author and poet. He always used to go to church, although at the beginning of his life he was a great believer in God. Later, I think the First World War led him to become an agnostic. I think he was against many of traditional Victorian values. Yeah, he didn't like the idea of a patriarchal society, and he likes women who defy the stereotypes in his novels. So, what's this about? Well, this whole poem is like a metaphor for the seasons. Firstly, this poem, as it goes on, it goes through the seasons. It talks about a group of 5 students who are walking a path, who are going along a path, and the students, one by one, fall by the wayside, or they die away. So I think it's a metaphor for the seasons, for life, for the fact that death is inevitable, and eventually we all die, and we will die alone. And as we go down the path of life, the scenery and the things around us change, and we're moving inevitably towards winter. Yeah. And I think that's the idea. So each of these stanzas gives us a season or a time of year. So this first one is about spring. The sparrow dips in his wheel-rut bath. So a wheel-rut is where a wheel has gone backwards and forwards over a road and it's made a hole. And clearly there is water in this hole, and there's this sparrow, this little bird, which is dipping its head again and again into this wheel-rut. And you've got this wonderful scene. Yeah, this is a country scene. You can see that there, he's walking on a road, and there's this sparrow washing itself in the water of a wheel-rut. The sun grows passionate-eyed. So here we have the personification of the sun. Yeah, the sun, or the eyes of the sun, become more and more passionate. They become warmer and warmer. And this is the warmth of spring coming to the landscape. Or perhaps again this is echoing the young growing up and becoming stronger and more intense. And then the sun boils the dew to smoke by the paddock-path. So the dew is this water that's over the surface of everything, which you will find in the morning, particularly in spring. And as the sun gets stronger, as spring continues, the dew is evaporated. Yeah, so to smoke, well, it's not to smoke, it becomes like mist, yeah, or vapor, but I think it's very evocative, and boils the dew to smoke by the paddock-path. So a paddock is a place where you would put horses, for example. There's a small field, and there's a path going by the paddock. As strenuously we stride, so we walk forward energetically, full of energy. Yeah, so these people are young, they're walking with strength. The year is young and life is young. 5 of us, so 5 people. Dark he, fair he, so 1 dark young man, 1 fair young man. Dark she, fair she, 1 dark-haired young lady and a fair-haired young lady. And I and me, all beating by, all walking past. The air is shaken, the high road hot, shadowless swoons the day. So now we're into summer, yeah? And the air, okay, the air is very hot. It's maybe shaken by the heat. I've got this idea of this heat haze. The high road, the road is hot. Shadowless swoons the day. To swoon is to faint, or to feel the heat. Oh, swoon, it's so hot. So the day has no shadows because the sun is right overhead and it's incredibly hot. The greens are sobered and the cattle at rest. So when the sun is very intense, the colours green are less intense. They're made sober, they're made less intense. And the cattle, the cows, are resting. But not we on our urgent way. Okay, so now I think these people there in their 30s, yeah, and they've grown up, and now they are urgently trying to do the things that are necessary in life. 4 of us, fair she, dark she, fair he, I, are there, but 1 elsewhere. So 1 of their party has gone. We don't know where. Maybe that person has died. Yeah, but the 4 of them continue down the road of life. Autumn moulds the hard fruit yellow. So now autumn has come, yeah, and the fruit is becoming ripe and mellow and ready to eat. And autumn, the season of autumn, is making the apples and pears and things like that ready to eat. And forward still we press through moors, briar-meshed plantations, clay pits yellow. So this group of people, they keep going forward across moors. A moor is like a high flat place. Briar-meshed plantations. Well, briars are blackberries. Briars have thorns. moulds. Yeah, and these tangle in everything. They're meshed, they're tangled up in everything. Clay pits yellow. So I think here now they are in the group are in their midlife, and they have different interests, different things. I think the briar-meshed plantations, some of the difficulties, but it's just talking about the variation of people's lives, but here a variation of landscape as well. As in the spring hours, yes. So we still press forward as we did in the spring, yeah, pressing on. 3 of us, fair he, fair she, I, as heretofore. So the 3 of them, as mentioned before, yeah. Okay, so heretofore, up until this point and mentioned before, yeah. Okay, so the same 3 this time as were mentioned previously, but fallen 1 more. So another member of the party is gone. Maybe they've died. The leaf drops. Earthworms draw it in at night time noiselessly. So now we're in late autumn or early winter, and the leaves are falling from the trees. And at night, the worms pull this leaf into their hole to break it up into soil. Yeah, so now the leaves have lost their trees. The fingers of birch and beech are skeleton thin. So birch and beech are types of trees, and the little twigs at the end, you can now see them, yeah, because they've got no leaves and they're skeleton thin. So this phrase skeleton thin, this is rather ominous as well, yeah. And yet, on the beat we are. We keep going on, we keep walking on. So I think now they're starting to get old, but they keep going, yeah. The season has changed to late autumn and everything is cold, and the earthworm is recycling the dead leaves, so death is clearly close. 2 of us, fair she and I, but no more left to go the track we know. So now there is only he and another girl, the fair girl, and they continue along the path, so another one has been lost. Icicles tag the church aisle leads. The flag rope gibbers hoarse. So I think here, let's see, an icicle is a piece of ice hanging down. And I think church aisle leads, well, lead is a metal, and lead is very often used to seal the roof of a church or the windows, the little panes of glass in the church. And there are icicles on the church aisle leads. The aisle is the bit in the centre. So I get this vision of icicles hanging down inside the church. The flag rope gibbers hoarse. So the rope that holds up the flag, it's making a sound. I think there's this howling wind. And to gibber, to talk senselessly. And hoarse is when you can't talk properly. Yeah, so the flag rope, the rope of the flag is making a noise. And here from this I infer it's cold, this is a world of ice, there are really strong winds. I like this word gibber as well, because maybe an old person gibbering in their old age. The homebound foot folk wrap their snowflaked heads. So people walking home, homebound, yeah? The homebound foot folk, people walking, not the people on horses, wrap their heads which are covered in snowflakes. So the whole world is now cold. It's covered in snow and icicles and cold winds. And this is the final moments before death, before the end. Yet I still stalk the course. I still follow this course. I hunt for the end of the course. One of us, dark and fair, one of us, dark and fair he, dark and fair she, gone. So all of his companions have gone. The rest are none, so we don't know where they are. And I think this last bit, it's like this was a funeral procession that's leading inevitably to death, to the end of the year, to a world of ice. And there we go. So, enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. The 5 Students by Thomas Hardy.